What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Staying Alpha channel. Today, we actually have Mickey B.Fresh. And without further ado, guys, because I know we're just a tad second late, everybody, welcome to the live stream. And we have Mickey B.Fresh, Patty, and Hank Dank back on the stream. So, Patty and Mickey B.Fresh, welcome to the stream. Appreciate you guys being on here.
Well, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for having us on. And we're going to explain to everyone what the Flare Network is and how it's going to be able to benefit you as a Doge holder and other asset holders like Litecoin, XLM, what's the other one? XRP, obviously, and then also ADA possibly now in the future. So strap in. We'll explain all that in the easiest way possible at the lowest level so it doesn't confuse anybody.
So yes, guys, everybody on the stream, this is going to be basically a Flare Network with DogeCoin for beginners, okay? And Mickey B.Fresh and Patty, they're one of the pioneers when it comes to the Flare Network. And the Flare Network, you could think about it as DeFi, you could think about it as smart contracts, okay? And it's going to go ahead and give Dogecoin this utility that could actually bring up the value of Dogecoin, because like I always talk about, it brings that true value when it's actually being used for these type of things. But as well, guys, introducing Mickey B.Fresh, you can actually go ahead and add him on his YouTube page, Mickey B.Fresh, the DeFi standard, which is their website that I'm going to be showing on here as well. Subscribe and ring the bell if you want to learn more about the Flare Network, because, bros, this is going to be huge, all right? So we have talked about the Flare Network, Hank Dank, myself, but we are bringing you basically the heavyweight champion of the Flare Network, and that is Mickey B.Fresh. So I am glad that he's on here. So Mickey, Patty, thank you once again. So Mickey, what is the Flare Network? Just a quick summary.
So the Flare Network is the first Turing complete smart contract platform, which means that it doesn't use a first federated Byzantine agreement Turing complete smart contract network, which means it doesn't use proof of stake and it doesn't use proof of work. So that's the one unique thing about it. Second unique thing is it allows for these other assets to come over, like DogeCoin, XLM, LTC, and XRP. And these assets could come over trustlessly. So instead of wrapping assets, typically we see assets get wrapped and brought over. That means you have to trust a counterparty. And with these networks like Doge, XRP, Litecoin, XLM, they don't have smart contracts natively. So we don't have the ability as holders of these coins to interact with all the DeFi dApps that the Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, and those other networks do. So by bringing over these assets as F assets, they're going to be called. So when you bring over your Dogecoin onto the Flare Network, it's going to be FDOGE. So you're going to have to pay a small fee to bring that over. But now here's really beyond just using it in smart contracts, one of the best things that they did was when you bring over your Dogecoin, you're going to be able to receive daily airdrops of the native token Spark of the network. So now you're instantly going to be able to earn yield every day, all day, once a day, at least. And with that, the Spark tokens are the native tokens. So instead of rewarding miners and rewarding validators, they reward the Spark holders for voting on the Flare Time Series Oracle. So I know there's a lot of moving pieces here that I'm talking about. You're like, oh, what's this? What's that? But you need to know as a Doge holder, if you bring over your Dogecoin, you're going to receive Spark tokens. So that's yield right there. Now, you're going to be able to then use that in a smart contract simultaneously. So you'll be able to earn, and now you'll be able to use it in, say, a DeFi dApp on Flare Finance, like Flare Farm. So you'll be able to yield farm and also earn Spark daily. So that's something you really can't do on other networks. So what they're doing is they're incentivizing you to bring over your assets. So you get full smart contract capabilities with extremely low gas fees. And when I say low gas fees, they're really low. And that's one of the things on Ethereum is a huge problem. We all know the gas fees there and how much they cost. So that's what it comes down to for you as Dogecoin holders. With Spark, the token, that's a whole nother aspect to this, because once you earn Spark, you're able to then delegate a detachable vote from it, and that goes to the Flare Time Series Oracle and signal providers, and it allows you to earn more Spark. So what this is all a process of replacing proof of work and proof of stake with this Oracle system. So I hope that gives like a basic understanding. I know it's very complicated and I know it's very new to many people. So it's going to take a little time to understand it, but it is a huge benefit for you as a holder of any of these F assets.
And also, so just to retrace back a little bit in what you said, right? So basically, you're going to go ahead and bring your Dogecoin into the Flare network.
Yes.
And for bringing the Dogecoin into the Flare network, you're going to go ahead and add your Dogecoin as a collateral. And when you add this into a collateral for smart contracts, then you'll get Spark tokens as an incentive. And also, you have other rewards as the voting system, correct?
Yes. Well, you're bringing the Dogecoin over, but you're not putting it as collateral for anything. You're just basically bringing it over. You're paying a small fee. Now it still remains in your possession. So it remains in your wallet. You don't have to risk anything. You're only trusting the actual protocol itself. So you are trusting Flare. Now, other entities called agents put up Spark as collateral to back your FDOGE, right? But you don't have to do that. But basically, you're bringing it over. So you are correct on that, yes.
Okay, and now for many, I know you know that you touched up on the Spark token, and people hear Spark token. What is that? They might start Googling, what it is, how much is the Spark token value. Yeah, I just don't want to lose anybody.
Okay.
So touch up on actual Spark tokens.
Yeah, so Spark token is to Flare what Ethereum is to the Ethereum network. It uses the same Ethereum virtual machine on the Flare network. So it's not an ERC20 token. It's its own native token of the network, the same way Ethereum is the native token of the Ethereum network. So they use the same Ethereum smart contracts. So pretty much any project that's on Ethereum can be ported over to the Flare network with tremendously lower gas fees. And then FDOGE is what it would be called, can be used in any of those projects, just like they would on Ethereum, except for no gas fees.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's really going to add a lot of use cases. Actually, one thing also I just want to bring up is FXRP, FXLM, FLTC, and FDOGE are all equal. They're all going to have these superpowers, and they're all going to be the same in a way. When they're on Flare, they're all going to be just as powerful to each other.
Oh, nice. So it doesn't matter, like, for example, Litecoin is the leading in the market cap, for example, in the price. So it doesn't matter if you come in with Litecoin or if you come in with Dogecoin, you're going to get the same value.
Well, the value is still going to be of the token itself, but the abilities that you'll have will be the same. So you'll be able to do the same things with the smart contracts, and you'll be able to earn the same daily yield as the other. Well, if you have more Doge, then you'll receive more daily rewards for that in Spark.
Okay. So before we get started, Mickey and Patty, my last question, where do you see this going with Doge? How do you see it benefiting the Doge community? Of course, it's bringing smart contracts and utility to Dogecoin, right? But where do you see Dogecoin going with, for this? Like, what do you see for Dogecoin in the future with the Flare network?
Patty, do you want to take this one or you want me to keep going?
Yeah, I can jump in. So really the main thing is that Flare is, so first of all, it's a utility fork of the XRP ledger. And this means that it's supposed to bring complementary value, and it's not like a divergent where it can pull value away from the native chain. And when it integrates with these other blockchains like Litecoin and Dogecoin, basically it's going to bring that same complementary value. And so the more like Dogecoin that gets minted onto Flare network, you're going to have more Spark put up as collateral to bring that value on. And it's kind of like this feedback loop. It's pretty cyclical in how the value feeds off each other and kind of drives both up. Because when people see that Dogecoin, Litecoin, XRP, Stellar are all earning this really high yield and also operating on a very like institutional grade network that has fast transactions, low gas fees, people are going to want to be in on those coins and get that same value. And one of the big things, Mickey, I don't remember if I didn't notice you touched on this, but like with Cardano, ETH, and everything, you have to stake the native token to secure the network. So Spark doesn't have to be staked in any way to secure the network, which allows it to scale. And, you know, ultimately, like the long-term future of this network is bringing on traditional financial assets like tokenized real estate, tokenized stocks, things of that nature. So like if you take a really long-term view and you get in early with like the assets that are integrated now and the native token Spark that's used in all these applications, it's looking to absorb so much value in the future. And I think that's a really big point.
And unlocking that value. So all that value that is in Doge right now, that's just there, is going to be able to be unlocked in these DeFi applications and other applications to allow you to earn more yield and further yield. Because that's really what we want out of our assets. We're holding them. We want to make them, put them to work to earn more money, right?
Yeah, I think the only place right now that's giving interest in Doge, I think, is Voyager right now. So besides Voyager is the only one where you could actually make some type of interest in your Doge. But besides that, you know, I know that probably 75% of everybody here on the stream, 75 people who hold Doge, or even more, maybe 85%, right? 90% are not doing anything with their Doge. So of course, bringing it up to the Flare network, guys, you're looking, you know, at making basically money. At the end of the day, that's what it is, with your Doge sitting on the Flare network.
Yeah, you're going to be able to hold it in the same. You'll have to probably have it in a Flare wallet, but it'll be sitting there in your possession with your keys, earning Spark every day. Now that Spark that you earn is going to allow you to earn more Spark on top of that Spark.
Yes.
And that's kind of the next level. But this is something you could do risk-free. And it's going to bring more people into these tokens like Doge, like XLM, LTC, XRP, because they're going to see the yield. You don't have to trust then Voyager. You only have to trust the protocol. So there's no counterparty.
Which is currently going through a security audit by TrailBits, which is one of like the top ones in the space. So like, you know, you're trusting the protocol like you would the Dogecoin blockchain or the XRP ledger. And that's like an important point that like you're going to know that you're going to have like a big company looking into this and making sure everything's running smooth so that you can trust that.
Another thing is we want to get in as early once the network goes live, because it's only a matter of time before Bitcoin comes over. And when Bitcoin comes over as an F asset, that's going to be a lot of value sucking up those rewards. So if you get in early, there's going to be less rewards. I mean, more rewards to go around for less people. So that's something important to note. And the longer you wait to bring over your either Doge, XLM, XRP, or LTC, the more rewards you'll earn. That's the way to, I guess, best way to put it.
Yes, the key here is to get your assets minted as F assets as soon and as early as possible. Because, like they said, all your assets, whether you hold XRP or XLM or Doge or Litecoin, they're all equal players on a new blockchain. So when we get all these assets, when you get your assets over there, regardless of what they are, you're going to earn these Spark tokens. And what that does is that gives you that. So the way I see this, right? So I don't necessarily have to make any additional investments, correct? I could take my Dogecoin to the Flare network and mint it into FDOGE, and then with my FDOGE, essentially, it gives me a vote. But that vote, when I give that vote to the what are they called again?
Flare Time Series Oracle,
Yeah, the Flare Time Series Oracle, but the whichever unit, sends the vote in for me.
The signal provider. You don't get rewarded.
The signal provider. Right. They can choose to reward you. if they want to, which, like you say, it could be a T-shirt or it could be an NFT, it could be other things. But because I'm holding my F asset, which in my case would be FDOGE, I'm going to receive daily Spark tokens.
Yes.
And since I was going to say, and since I own those, since I get those daily Spark tokens, I can then use those daily Spark tokens to submit my vote for the FTSO, which with that provider could then, if they're giving accurate data feeds correct, then I could potentially get more Spark tokens, and then basically rinse and repeat.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly it. So you're going to get those Spark tokens just for holding FDOGE on Flare, and then that cycle begins, like what you explained right there. And that's how you get that positive feedback loop. And in the beginning, it's going to be the most lucrative for us, no matter what of those coins we hold. You know, that's just good bringing all the communities together, too. I think that's something that's important as well. That, you know, and the tribalism aspect to all this.
I think ending the tribalism is a great thing. I'm sorry, but one more thing. What's interesting is when we were just talking about this, it actually creates this very interesting byproduct that makes you not ever want to like sell any of your assets, because you're just compounding your assets by participating, and you're just building and building and building. And as you own more Flare and as you own more of your F assets, it just builds. So it makes people, it gives the incentive for people to want to participate in the network and hold as much of their holdings onto it and not sell it as possible.
Absolutely. And Patty, did you want to explain how you could actually earn Doge and earn Litecoin and earn XLM too by staking?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So the other part of the F asset system, after you as a Doge holder decide you want to bring FDOGE and mint FDOGE, is the agent aspect, which is basically a dynamic fluid system. So don't think of it as you're like hooked up with one other agent. There'll be many agents that are posting collateral for your one position. But once you own Spark, you're able to stake that with these agents. And Hugo has said they're people we know. So like me and Mickey like to speculate that they're like, institutions, exchanges, things of that nature, that are going to be these agents that are going to have more sophisticated methods to manage the collateral and make sure it's all safe. But you can basically stake your Spark with them once you have that to provide it as collateral. So you'll start earning these creation fees in the native assets. And we like to call it diversified yield. So it's possible that you could have Litecoin, Stellar, XRP, and Doge all being paid to you, which you can then go and mint as F assets again if you wanted to, and keep compounding everything you have on the network. So that's like a really important part. You're not just earning Spark here. You're also going to be earning these other native assets that are integrated with the network. So it's just like there's so much like different things compounding on top of each other. And when the participation is the lowest, that's when you get a larger percentage of everything. So that's like the incentive to come on early. That's how they're going to get value to come on and get early adopters to start like running the FTSO, because the FTSO relies on all the Spark holders to provide data feeds through these signal providers that are basically scraping the entire internet for exchange data, decentralized exchange data. They could use Chainlink, things like that, and they're going to combine it all to create a decentralized oracle. And this is like what Hugo calls the beating heart of Flare, because it's going to make the pricing as good as possible. And me and Mickey are looking into, we're hoping that it solves the oracle problem with this decentralized pricing, which would be a huge thing. And that's like why they incentivize it so greatly, is because they need to keep the pricing strict on these assets so they're not lagging with the native asset when it's moving on centralized exchange. And that's one of the nice things that like the FTSO updates like every second and everything. So it keeps those prices tightly aligned so you can feel safe that you're not missing out by holding an F asset.
Before we keep moving, I see that the live stream, I see a couple of questions, and then I want to go to the DeFi standard. So I'm going to take just two questions, Patty and Mickey. I'm looking for them, and I had them over here. Okay, one of them I see Roman, right? And this is his question right here, because people are wondering who is the Flare Network, right? How they kind of be, and how are they making money? Because yes, they're able to go ahead and give you these incentives, but like Roman says, how does the Flare network make money?
Okay, that's a great question. So the way the incentives are being paid, the Flare Time Series Oracle is paying out the rewards through an inflation mechanism. So that's new tokens being paid to those who delegate their votes. Okay, so that's where that value is coming from. When you bring over your Doge or XRP and you earn those daily rewards, that's coming out of the current circulating supply, out of a rewards pool, and it will be a certain percentage per day. It's probably going to have roughly 20 to 25 billion Spark in it, and there's 100 billion Spark total. So you'll get a percentage of that to the amount of participants of F asset holders. So that Spark is already calculated in the circulating supply. Now, third, the team who created Flare Network is called Flare Limited. They say that their business model, they haven't disclosed, but they're going to be a participant in the network. And they are not going to have anything to do with the foundation. They are not going to have anything to do with actually managing the network. Not like the way, Ripple kind of like directs how things happen in the XRP ledger. Yeah. Flare Limited is going to be the exact opposite of that in a way. They're just going to be a participant. They haven't disclosed their model. They could help bootstrap the signal providers. They could help put collateral towards the F asset system to begin with. But they haven't really disclosed how that's going to happen. And also, it's going to have UNLs, which are unique node lists that connect all the networks. So like the Doge blockchain is going to be connected to the Flare network. So all the data that runs through the Doge blockchain, all the transactions, everything will be digested by the Flare network. And that's what will allow you to redeem your Doge whenever you want at any time. So hopefully that answers that question and maybe another.
Yeah, could I add something there?
Sure.
So when you think about Flare network, so like the blockchain, basically the Spark holders are going to be citizens of the Flare network, as every Spark vote is going to come, or sorry, every Spark token will come with one governance vote. And this is the other detachable vote that comes with Spark holdings. So basically people will make proposals in the future, like if they want to lower the inflation rate from what it's set at the beginning, they want to lower or raise the collateral ratio, and we're all going to have a say in what happens on the network. So it's going to be the people that are holding Spark and participating in the network that get to have a say. And we're receiving all the incentives. So like this is very much like a ground up approach to running things. Like it's basically just all the people that are holders that are going to be making all the decisions. And there'll be people like signal providers, more sophisticated people economically or financially that help like make proposals based on market conditions, economics, and all those things. But like we are all in this together, and they're bringing a bunch of different crypto communities together to all like make decisions and run this blockchain the way we want.
And this goes back to power of the people, right? Which is completely decentralized.
Yeah. Hugo's big on that. Hugo's really big on that. If you watch some of his old talks that he's given, you can look him up on YouTube. But he's very much into like bringing power back to like, the people that are producing things and creating things. So it's very cool.
Okay. So the next question is, because NFTs right now, it's what is going hot. So Low Roller Scratch is asking, does Flare Network do NFTs? Do they have anything to do with NFTs? I'm not sure why he's bringing the NFT things up.
I believe, Patty, I noticed one project I saw on Twitter was called Sparkles, that was doing NFTs. Forte Labs is another project with gaming that I think will see NFTs.
Gala, yeah.
Gala.
So, yep. Interesting about Gala is I heard their CEO literally say that they had to stop doing stuff with Ethereum because the gas fees, and they're just waiting for Flare to launch at this point so they can issue NFTs there.
Mm-hmm. So actually, just to chime in real quick, so this is a prime example, right? This is why businesses like Gala Games are going to benefit so greatly from Flare Network, is simply because like for Gala Games, I went and checked them out, and they gave me like 2 free NFTs that are basically just like little cheap. Here, thanks for coming and joining Gala Games NFTs, right? But I had to pay the gas fees for those. The gas fees were $23 for free for just to receive 2 free NFTs, right?
Wow.
And so, and if you go and look at Gala Games, they have a new game coming out called Mirandus. And if you look, they sold a lot of their NFT properties and shops and things like that, like before the game comes out. And most of these things sell for thousands and thousands of dollars, right?
Hank, they sold one for $1.3 million. They sold a Citadel in their game. And basically, I heard them saying they're going to have basically kings that have like special powers and everything. Yeah, it's an MMORPG. So you can see like Flare is pretty across the board with everything. And there's a lot coming. Especially like when you have low gas fees and fast transactions, it's going to bring a lot of people over.
So everybody can see how much these citadels cost. So these citadels are like in this game. These are the 5 kingdoms that basically run in this game, and you can basically participate under one of these kingdoms. So you can see the Ethereum fees. You can see how much Ethereum those games cost. 1,956 Ethereum.
I don't want to touch too much on that, guys, because we're really just mostly
I know.
Yeah, the Gala Games, guys. If for the ones that are just coming in here, guys, you should already know what NFT is. I talk about it almost every single day. All right, but Gala Games is partnering up with the Flare Network, and just think about Ready Player One. Think about items in the games that you can actually resell for money, or items that you unlock, like a sword, buying a turbo for a car, and then selling it out in the marketplace, and just running through the blockchain.
I think the big takeaway really from Flare Network is that it is a blockchain that gives current cryptocurrencies that do not have smart contract capabilities the new utility to be used for smart contracts and whatever dApps those may be created to run on something like that. That's really up to the creators, but the blockchain itself is giving the ability for these things to happen and at extremely low, fast fees. And then there's this entire reward system created on top of it, which makes it very. Sorry, go ahead, Alpha.
Yeah, no, let me go ahead and move on now to the DeFi standard, because I know we could actually stay talking here, the whole entire day. And I know that Mickey B.Fresh, I don't want to keep him here for longer than what I have to.
Can I just answer this one question somebody had, just because it's an important one?
Question.
It says, does the Flare Limited team retain the 5% F asset minting fee? So no, it's the people who put up Spark as collateral who earn that 5% fee. That's all. I just wanted to answer that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Which is another way to earn even more income is by being an agent.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
So I'm going to try to take this to the DeFi standard, and Mickey B.Fresh, you could just basically, start Flare Network plus DogeCoin for beginners, dummies, quick rundown, and I'll go to the DeFi standard, guys. By the way, the DeFi standard, it's a website, with Mickey B.Fresh and Patty. So if you guys want to learn more, that website is actually pinned on the comments, and you guys can go ahead and check this out for yourself. But let me go ahead now and bring this website up. You're looking at right now, the DeFi standard, and I'll be following along Mickey B.Fresh as he talks about this.
Yeah. Do you want me to walk through, Mickey? Do you want to walk through the website a little? Yeah.
What? You walk through it, Patty, and I'll commentary on top.
Yeah. So basically, what we offer here is, I like to call it a resource hub. So I post blogs just about stuff me and Mickey will talk about. So like you can see, the most recent one is about XRP escrow theories. So we're like longtime XRP guys, so we cover that too. But the website's mainly for Flare Network. So if you want to hit on the Flare Network tab at the top, we can talk about that.
Yeah, go to Flare.
Yeah, go ahead and click that.
Because Flare is for all the communities coming together.
So basically what I have here so far is we have a page on the F Assets, Flare Finance, the DeFi project. That's going to be the first one launching. The Flare Time Series Oracle, it's a whole explanation on how that works. signal providers. So these are the firms that are going to be scraping the internet for data and providing it to the FDSO, since that's hard for like your normal person to do. We're not coding experts and everything, but there's a whole listing of them there. There's already like 12 or so. And you guys will definitely have heard of some before. BitTrue just announced that they're going to be one. Toho Labs, who's building the wallet infrastructure for everybody also. And then I have a page on Spark that explains that more. And we also have a bunch of diagrams on here that will show you the value flows, how the F asset system works. There's links. Oh, I highly suggest above right there, the Flare blog. If you got, that is the #1 way to learn, is going to their blog page and reading their posts. That's where me and Mickey started with that, and the white papers. The white papers can get technical, but the blog is broken down for your average lay person that's just, you know, normal retail investor. And it's really helpful in learning what's going on. I've also put out some stuff on how you earn with the FTSO, so the math behind that, so you can get an idea. Also, like an example of earning by just minting an F asset. So we have a ton of stuff, resources. Mickey's videos are all there as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm just like updating it when I get done with work pretty much. So by the time we launch, you guys will have a lot of information you can look at on top of this, because there's so many other projects that are already building on Flare that we can't even get into, because they're all, you know, we aren't even all caught up on everything yet. So
well, can I just add in that
absolutely
Flare Finance is one of the DeFi projects that is probably the first DeFi project that's being built on the Flare network. I would suggest going to Flare Finance Discord, and on there, I believe we have a link to that, Patty, right? Flare Finance.
Yeah.
They're doing a beta program which allows you to test through the Flare Farm and the Flare X, which is like the Uniswap of the Flare network. So on the Flare network, you're going to be able to swap between FDOGE, Spark, FXRP, YFlare, all these assets. You'll be able to swap between just the way you do at Uniswap on Ethereum, except without the high gas fees. So that's one thing that's going to be nice of the Flare network. You won't have to go back to the central exchanges. You'll be able to swap between all these assets while you're on the Flare network. That's one thing that Flare Finance will allow you to do here.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing we have on here that I'll mention is, like, you know, if you're having a hard time, there's a Flare Network Telegram, and there's some dedicated mods in there that can answer a lot of questions. And then also, you know, feel free to, you can email me at the DeFiStandard@gmail.com. I don't check like every day, but, you know, with reasonable questions, I try and get back to them every couple days. Also commenting on the posts on the website. I can see those really easily. Yeah, and there's Discord for Flare Network also. I ask tons of questions there all the time, and they're really helpful. Also, we do have a Patreon page, so we have a Telegram group where me and Mickey and a lot of other people that we've talked to over the years and researched with are always like pretty much available to help out. So if you guys like going that far, but there's a ton of free info out there. So look around.
We'll have most of the stuff.
The website has a ton of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's so much to unpack, and I understand that, but
it is.
You know, having this website that you guys put together is amazing, and I really do suggest anybody that's interested in the Flare network is to come here and start. And I see you guys are even starting this new to DeFi videos that you guys are doing on YouTube, which I think is actually really great. And anybody that's kind of new to cryptos in general, or decentralized finance kind of information you want to learn about, start with those new to DeFi series.
Yeah, we've only done 2 so far, but Lars and I are going to do some more this week. And you're right. That's a good, we wanted a place to where people could start, because sometimes the things I say get really technical and complicated, but at least we're going to have somewhere where it could be just a basic understanding, because now that all our assets, XRP, Doge, Litecoin, they're all going to be now part of the DeFi ecosystem. So we all should really understand it and how it works and where it's going in the future.
So to start, so if let's say I want more information, and I'm just you know, it's my first time getting into this, then I want to go to the DeFiStandard.com. I'll click on DeFi to learn about decentralized finance, and then from here, I want to go ahead and click on the Flare network and get started from here. Correct?
Yes, absolutely. That's what I would say. Yeah, and then also Mickey's videos on YouTube. You know, maybe after you've read a little, that may help before diving into those. But I mean, Mickey's probably put out like close to 20 videos on Flare Network at this point, and his YouTube channel has a playlist and everything with all of them in order, including an intro one giving like a whole spiel on the network. So we have a ton of stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
And also you have at least 3 months until the network launches more than likely. So like you have a ton of time to learn stuff, and there's still a lot that we want to learn. So there's plenty of time. Just unpack a little bit at a time, and it'll start making more sense as you go. And then you'll start being able to absorb more at once. That's kind of how I found it. Because at first I was like, this is crazy, but yeah.
Appreciate that. So now, Mickey, I know you said that on your YouTube page you have a playlist, right? So let me go ahead and check out your playlist right now.
Yeah, go to Flare Networks. There should be a playlist for.
Okay, so I see the new to DeFi.
Down to the left, down there. Down left.
Down left, Flare Network. Okay.
There you go.
Educational videos. You click on Flare Network, and there's where we have the rest of your videos. Okay, let me go ahead and pause that. Okay. Okay, and then I see over here on the side.
This is one you were watching, yep.
Yeah. You see, he's
been studying.
So, keep in mind that as I'm doing these videos, new info is coming out in the future. So there might be something that you watched that was recorded a month ago, and new info has come out now. So just be aware of that. But for the most part, it's all up to date on the videos that I've done.
Appreciate that. RJ.
The last thing, just so everyone knows, it's not till June 11th, most likely, Flare Network's going to go live. So that means we have around 3 months to be able to learn, understand, know how to utilize what assets you would like. So just because XRP holders are getting airdropped the Spark, they're only getting 15%, number one. And there's a good chance that you'll be able to earn more than that 15% by just bringing over your Doge or Litecoin or XLM within the first month. So just keep that in mind. Don't be discouraged just because that community got some. All right.
Now, make it B.Fresh. Should we be seeing DogeCoin airdrops with the Flare Network as we're seeing with XRP? Can that happen? No,
you'll be getting daily airdrops when you bring over Doge.
Okay, so, and now when we say airdrops, we're talking incentives for everybody here.
Yes, incentives.
That doesn't know what we're talking about. So Flare, your Dogecoin, I'm sorry, Mickey, just by bringing your Dogecoin, you're actually going to be getting daily incentives, all right, for your Dogecoin.
Incentives. I know I call them airdrops because I was calling them incentives like that, but I was trying to help people understand that they are literally kind of like if you're holding it in your private wallet, right, and something's getting dropped into there, you know, it's kind of like an airdrop to help everyone understand, but it is an incentive, like you said. Hugo said there's no other actual airdrops like to new assets. The only difference is Litecoin kind of has its own rewards pool. That's the only thing that's unique.
Mickey, you can get the Flare Finance airdrop of their native token if you have Spark, and that's 1 month after, so that's another incentive to earn Spark within the first month.
Good point. So staying alpha, you might want to make sure everyone knows the more Spark they accumulate in that month after the Flare Network goes live will give you an opportunity to receive D-Flare, which is the native token of Flare Finance.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
All right. So more free tokens.
Yeah, it's another thing to participate in. Exactly.
They're actually going to make you put a little work in with that one.
Yeah.
So they'll take a snapshot of the amount of Spark you have, say, July 11th, right? 7/11. Just hypothetically. I'm not saying it's that day, but it's going to be roughly a month after. They'll take a snapshot of your Spark, and then you'll have to have it in a non-custodial wallet or participating Flare Finance exchange. And then you'll receive D-Flare. Now, within 7 days, you're going to have to go to the Flare Finance DApp website or browser extension and swap D-Flare for Y-Flare. watch a few educational videos, and then you get Y-Flare, and you could use it on the platform. And there's only, I think the supply is only like 40 million.
Yeah.
They're airdropping.
Something like that.
Wow.
And there's 110 million total. And you use that to mine YFin, which there's only 11,000 supply. So there's a lot of ways to make money on the Flare network. And you could use your FDOGE to do that, to mine the YFin. So this is where the use cases come in that are going to be all new.
Yeah.
So guys, the whole point is to get in early, and like how Fresh said, I mean, if you come in later, that's okay. But if you come in early, you're going to go ahead and reap all these benefits. But like making B.Fresh was very important is they're going to take a screenshot of your date, right? So they're going to know when you actually came in for these incentives.
Well, they're going to take a They're going to take a snapshot of your Spark.
There you go. Okay.
But you don't have to bring all your Doge in right away. You could bring it in as you want. But the more you bring in, the more benefits there are, and the more rewards you'll get.
Can I just touch up on something that's interesting that a lot of people?
Sure.
So, what people need to realize is one of the more beneficial things for, like, say, Doge holders or anybody in general that's going to actually bring their own supplies of the currencies that they currently own over to the Flare network is that by doing so, you're taking this off of these exchanges, and because you're so incentivized to just keep it and hold it and it builds up, it actually has this, what do you call it, this looping effect, right? Where it's actually going to affect the Doge itself. It's going to cause the price of Doge to want to go up itself.
I agree.
Yeah, because more people, ideally, the demand would go up for Doge to get in through that way. For all these assets, if everybody's seeing what's going on, so y'all know, like, the demand's going up, so that's what drives price, basically.
Right.
So, and then also with Spark, so like we touched on Bitcoin when that comes over. So when you bring over all that value with Bitcoin, which is over $1 trillion right now, I'm not saying it's all coming over, but 5-10% comes over. That's a lot. You have to lock up 2.5 times the value of all that in Spark. So that reduces the Spark supply that's available to be traded on the market. Also, if you're receiving all these other rewards for using your Spark, why would people be trying to sell it? So all of these things are lowering the supply and increasing the demand for the long-term go. So that's, also important components as why you'd want to get in early.
Yes, you're explaining it perfectly. So exactly, especially, like, a lot of people are asking about Bitcoin, and, like, so would you guys agree that you would think that most Bitcoin holders at this point are institutions?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Yeah, but I mean, obviously the miners are going to have a stake, and then we've seen a lot of companies get in holding Bitcoin. So I think a large portion of that has helped drive the price, but I also think it has a lot to do with what's going on with the dollar and everything, that everybody's just looking for a way to, like, get a little bit of yield or maintain what they have currently. And Bitcoin's one of the things that offers that, so.
And Bitcoin for a lot of retail investors like ourselves, we kind of consider Bitcoin one of those projects that's really unobtainable. Yeah, we can invest in Bitcoin, but how many of us can afford to buy a single Bitcoin, right? So we're looking for those things to invest for things that, like, and so for Flare Network, for example, it's a really big incentive for people to, if they want to participate in the Flare Network, Dogecoin could be one of those cryptos that they would want to go for. It's low cost, right? It has a very low transfer fee, so it's extremely fast for transfers. Its gas fees are extremely low. I think it's something like 12 cents if you send like $40,000 worth of Doge. I mean, I know it's ridiculously low. Yeah, it's ridiculously low, but it's extremely fast. So Doge is actually a really interesting coin because while it's simplistic in itself, it is perfect for day-to-day use. It's day-to-day currency. It's cheap, it's fast, and right now it's showing that it's pretty stable. So I can only see this actually benefiting everybody across the board.
Exactly, and now it's going to get... Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Just to add on what Hank is saying, besides that, though, Mickey and Patty, the DogeCoin community, it's really, really big compared to a lot of cryptocurrencies. And we could actually see that on Reddit itself. Like Reddit, for example, the members of DogeCoin, you're talking about 1.2 million members on the DogeCoin Reddit group. But when you look at Cardano has around, I think, 240,000 or 270,000, but it doesn't compare to the DogeCoin community. You know, the Dogearmy, as they call it, you know, it's really, really big. So I do see that benefiting the Flare network as well, because you're talking about a big, large community getting into the Flare network, you know,
exactly. And now they're going to all be able to use decentralized finance and decentralized exchanges where they don't have to deal with the counterparties, decentralized exchanges, and it's going to pull all this Doge off of those exchanges. And the more asset you pull off the exchanges, the less supply there is, and the higher the demand there is, that means the price goes up. So with a big community like that, now's the time to spread the word that Doge is going to have superior smart contracts to Ethereum's going to have. So, yes, I mean, that's just a fact. It's going to, and cheaper.
I love it because that's actually bringing a great utility tool to DogeCoin, which it doesn't have, and that's what Flare Network does, right?
Exactly. So exactly.
I love it, and honestly, I think this is honestly one of the biggest news this year. You know, but we just got to go ahead and just make people realize that. So, but definitely, this is probably one of the biggest news this year for DogeCoin that could give it that real value. Because I always tell people, why do you see DogeCoin going to the moon? Why do you see DogeCoin being worth $1? Why do you see DogeCoin being worth 5 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents? Well, you know, and things like smart contracts is where the true value actually comes. But Mickey, what I want to touch up is just a couple of questions before you guys go.
Sure.
GP has been here with this question. Can you guys touch up the security in Flare insuring your assets?
So security as in the network security of the smart contracts. So that's, yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, that's going through a security audit from Trail of Bits right now. And the other aspect is Flare Network has been in development since 2018. And it's the underlying technology of Flare has been used in other ways. I don't want to go into that right now, but in institutional ways already. But the security of it's going through Trail of Bits audit. And you're also going to be able to keep your Spark private keys and other assets, private keys, on coldware wallets and then attached to a browser extension like MetaMask. So the concept will be the same, but not with MetaMask per se. But you'll be able to
like Alpha, your Decent biometric wallet.
Yes,
what it's
you're going to be
about.
able to use Decent. Yep. You're going to be able to keep your private keys on there, have that connect to then the browser extension or the software wallet. So you won't have to expose your keys. And I like that because you never want to really expose your private keys if you don't have to.
Can I also add something that may help there? Yeah, so Ripple is actually invested in the team that is building Flare Network. So when you have a company that's worth $10 billion, and if you think anything good about the XRP ledger, that can also help you, you know, feel good about Flare Network. That like there's big money behind them.
So they didn't get any Spark tokens.
Yeah, they're not getting anything, but they're just invested in Flare Limited. So that's like Hugo's team, who's the CEO and everything. And David Schwartz actually went on an interview recently and touched on Flare Network a little bit. He's the CTO and one of the founders of the XRP ledger.
Can I ask one question? It's been something I've been curious about. So, you know, we've had a lot of questions about what's the difference between, like, say, Flare and Cardano, right? And
I was gonna ask.
I mean, there's a lot of interesting things about Cardano, but one of the things that I like to touch up on, and I want to make sure that I'm correct on this, is so because Flare Network is built on the Ethereum virtual machine, most of the dApps right now are built on Ethereum and they run on Ethereum, and the Ethereum gas prices are one of the things that's really holding these applications back. Is it, I wouldn't say seamlessly, but is it very easy for, let's say, these owners of these dApps to just transfer their current applications over to the Flare network without actually having to rewrite the entire code?
Yes, they call that porting, is what I'm told. So they port it. So yeah, it's fairly easy. We just don't have the open source code yet for the Flare
Right.
network. So until that security audit is done, but yeah, Hank, yeah, that's about right. You're
So that
basically
all
gonna
of
be able
these,
to
all
just
of these,
copy and paste.
yeah, all of these programmers that already know the Serenity code and
Yes.
have learned and know how to create these applications, they don't have to turn around and learn the code for, say, Cardano in order to recreate these applications that they've already spent all this time and money to do. So they can. It's the incentive for them to take these dApps and port them over to Flare instead of learn Cardano.
Exactly. And Flare now says that they're technically agnostic in the future to other virtual machines. So right now, Ethereum virtual machine is, for most part, the standard. But in the future, they can adapt to other virtual machines, is basically what Hugo said. So it's good for the time being as you can port it, but say, for example, Cardano's comes out and it's the best one in the standard, you could always switch over to that. So
right, I got you.
Okay.
And that's why I brought this article up, because as you see, it states over 100 companies to shift from Ethereum to Cardano, right? And of course, this is talking about the Gogan project that they have coming out for the smart contracts. So with the Flare network, it'll be a lot easier since it's already on the Ethereum virtual machine.
Exactly.
Okay.
They don't have to rewrite the program with the coding needed to put it on Ethereum or Cardano.
Yeah, I believe it's called ported. P-O-R-T-E-D.
Yeah, they can port it.
Ported.
Yeah.
I believe that's the word. I don't.
It's the same way as like a video game gets ported from a PC to a console.
Exactly, Hank. Yep, that's right.
So we have Andy here with this question: will there be a minimum number of those that will have to deposit into the Flare network?
No.
Just come on over.
On over. It will depend on the dollar value of how much FDOGE you bring over to how much daily rewards you receive. So since, the price of Doge and the price of Litecoin are very different. So if you have one Doge and one Litecoin, doesn't mean you're going to get the equal amount. It's the dollar value of those. And what makes this possible is the Flare Time Series Oracle. Since there's an Oracle system, a decentralized Oracle system built into the network, every smart contract can interact with that Oracle system, so it knows exactly the dollar value of your Doge on the Flare network at that time and how much rewards to pay you. So that's what makes the network really special.
Cool.
I think that's it. I'm not sure if I have any other questions. Right now that I'm looking for. If you guys have any questions, guys, last minute questions. I'm taking the last couple of questions. But Mickey, while I wait for just two more questions.
Sure.
So the talk really is Ethereum, Cardano, and the Flare network. I'm loving the Flare network because obviously it's bridging all of these other cryptos: XLM, XRP, Doge, Litecoin. So what would you have to say between the three? And is it a race to the top of the mountain, right? Because with Ethereum 2.0 coming out, the Gogan project releasing, and then the Flare network coming out, let's say May or June or July, Gogan probably dropping next month, and Ethereum 2.0 just late in the game, maybe 2020. Is this a race to the top on who actually holds the best platform for smart contracts?
I think that is one aspect, and I think that's a very important component, but it's which platform is going to be able to be compliant and allow enterprise and institutional money to build services that allow their customers to interact with these decentralized apps the same way that we do. So how are these enterprises going to be able to build applications or custodians that are going to be able to interact with others on the network if they don't know who the counterparty is? So I think the smart contract platform is absolutely very important, but I think the surrounding components that go with it are going to be very important too. So say like unstoppable domains with .crypto, but naming addresses. How is our identities going to be able to be attached, but also maintain our privacy at the same time? I think that's going to play a role in the long run of how these things get really big adoption. So there's the platform, and then there's the components that go with it. That's where I think is going to be the next tier up. You know, how is PayPal's customers going to interact with DeFi if they're not fully compliant? And how can you verify credentials? Like, you know how you walk into a bar? Can I prove that I'm 18 without showing you my name and my actual address and date of birth? But if I could prove I'm 18, that's the key here. And I think that's important with decentralized identifiers.
It's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think we need that for to really make a difference in the traditional markets. Like everything that happened with Wall Street bets and everything, like decentralized exchanges are great, but how can we make them compliant without giving up too much of that decentralization? And I think finding that balance there is where there's going to be a period of 1 to 3 years of where all the money is going to come in. There's no reason why these platforms can't be good for retail and be used by institutions at the same time for different reasons and be compliant. Because I don't think we're ever going to get away from the whole KYC AML in the long term. It's just, can we have our privacy and still comply?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mickey, the last question really that I have for you now, and this is really just kind of like a left field, but with XRP being investigated under the SEC right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see now that the SEC basically dabbled a little bit, and I think the first time they started investigating crypto was in 2017. So now that they went after one of the big players being XRP, do you see it possible now, since XRP, right, Ripple still being centralized and Ethereum being centralized, can you see them going after Ethereum, maybe causing Ethereum to go ahead and crash and probably giving this the rise to the Flare network, for example?
Well, the thing is, they can't prove that either are centralized. So I don't know what the generalized term of centralized means, because if the Ethereum Foundation is that what you mean?
Yes.
Right, centralized. So
yes. Due to this decentralization, you know, due to like Doge, for example, being decentralized.
they haven't defined what decentralized actually means. So I think that's what's important. When that guy William Hinman said Ethereum was sufficiently decentralized, what did he mean? And they haven't defined, is it the supply that's distributed means it's decentralized? Is it the amount of nodes? Is it the amount of validators? Because technically you could say Ethereum and XRP are both decentralized in their ways because nobody controls more than 50% of the validators. So what is, they need to define decentralization before we could really say that they're going to go after this one or that one. You would think that the ones that have been around the longest have the least to worry about, but those who did ICOs like Cardano's, the Polkadots, the Filecoins, they had monster ICOs. I think we need to see what the outcome of this case is before I could really answer that question.
I agree.
And the
I
FOIA request.
want to ask a question. Just,
Go ahead.
I think a lot of people want to. Is Flare Network susceptible to a 51% attack?
No.
No. The reason why is the system is set up differently. So it's going to bootstrap the decentralization of the DogeCoin network. So there's going to be unique node lists where validators operate on Doge blockchain, and they also operate on the Flare network. Then there's going to be a unique node list where they operate on Litecoin and Flare, XRP and Flare, XLM and Flare, and they're going to overlap on 1 to 2 quorums. So that's the Federated Byzantine Agreement. And then on top of that, you have the Avalanche consensus. So it is not susceptible to 51% attack. It's actually, Avalanche is the first breakthrough consensus since proof of work, actually, since Nakamoto consensus. So Dogecoin's decentralization is going to help Flare become decentralized out the gate. And that's one thing I think that all these networks coming on is helping. Hope Flare explained that good enough. That was a tough one.
No, that was a layup question, man, because that's exactly what I wanted you to explain.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Thanks.
Mickey, I'll probably take like 2 more questions, 3 more questions, and you know, just to wrap it up. But it's been a great pleasure having you here. Very informative. So yes, guys, remember the DeFi standard. I'm showing right now Patty's Twitter. You could go ahead and add Patty. That is the real Patty XRP. Okay, if you guys want to go ahead and add them. And mind you, guys, this is not just for Dogecoin. So if you're actually, investing into XRP, Litecoin, XLM, and all these other coins, it does benefit you. Now, I'm probably not going to be able to find the question, but I did see a question around here that stated, when do you expect Bitcoin to get integrated onto Flare? I can't find the
Patty, you could take that.
Somebody asked that, correct?
So personally, our thinking is that they're using Litecoin as a test bed, since the code bases are really similar, to make sure everything's running smoothly, as Bitcoin is the whale in the space and has the most value. So more than likely, it'll be a vote for all the Spark holders to decide. So that's one of the parts of being a Spark holder. I don't see any reason why people wouldn't vote to have Bitcoin come on. It's only going to benefit Flare, and it's going to benefit Bitcoin. And one of the things about Flare is you don't have to ask the other blockchain to integrate. They can just do it on their own. So it's up to the Spark holders. If people decide they want to integrate every blockchain out there that's possible, they could do that. At first we didn't think that they were going to bring on blockchains with smart contracts already, but Flare just floated a tweet today about adding Cardano. They did a similar thing for XLM and Dogecoin. The vote is 80-20 that people want Cardano on. And we actually got messages from Hugo when we reached out to him, explaining why they wanted to do that. I don't want to go into all that right now. But basically, I think it'll probably happen at this point. I think that Cardano is going to get integrated, and then Bitcoin will be integrated after launch. But maybe it gets integrated before. I don't really know, but that's our speculation. Yeah. So.
Thanks for that, Patty. Now the last question. This from 3GP. I'm not sure. I might take one more. I'm not sure about that yet.
This is a good question.
Any last question, guys? Is your time now? I might take one, might take 2, and that's it. Staying alpha question, not to be cynic, but will the low gas fees be static, or will it rise up once you have the assets in and committed?
I'll take this one, Patty.
Yeah.
Okay. So the governance manages the gas fees. So everyone who's a Spark owner has 1 vote per Spark. The gas fees are static, and they're set, and governance decides to raise them or lower them. So no, they can't just rise up because the miners want to raise them like that. It's static. So it's all based on governance. The governance structure is a liquid democracy, which means that as a Spark owner, you could delegate your vote for governance, or you could vote directly. So maybe one day our real political system will work like that.
Yeah.
But, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But yeah, gas fees are static and set by governance.
Yeah.
But yes, guys. I think that's really the last question. Let me see. What does everyone think about those? Because my opinion is people who support it. I think that's about it. Yeah. But guys, Mickey B.Fresh, man.
Thank you.
Yes, guys, go ahead and add them. Make it B.Fresh, as you see right here. Remember, you have the DeFiStandard.com. If you want to learn more about the Flare network, go ahead and check out that website, guys, because that is definitely the site for you to go ahead and get into. I could not explain this better than what Mickey B.Fresh and Patty did, all right? Because these guys, like I said, are the heavyweight champs when it comes to the Flare network. And, you are hearing it from Mickey and Patty in the flesh. So Mickey and Patty make great stuff, and I appreciate you guys coming on to the live stream. I know Hank as well.
Thank you.
Hit him with the Einstein Doge.
Yeah.
And we'll do it again in the future. We still got 3 months, so there's plenty more to come and more information coming out. So thank you so much for having us. Really appreciate it.
We're gonna give Mickey and Patty the Einstein comment of the day, man.
Nice.
That's hilarious.
That
Dang.
was great.
We need some good graphics.
We need stuff like that on our channel. Oh
We'll
boy.
get there. We'll get there.
We appreciate having you on. You guys are welcome here anytime. Mickey, if you can just do me one favor before you leave, just hit me with this is Mickey B.Fresh.
This is Mickey B.Fresh. You like that? Dude, the first time I did my video, I was like, what am I going to say when I open? So I just
That
came
is the
out.
best.
Thank you. It's always a running joke with my friends for years. I just used it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Good times.
Yeah,
Good times.
appreciate you guys very
Had a
much.
great
Definitely
time.
gotta do this again.
For
By the
sure.
way, Mickey and Patty, before you guys go, maybe one day we could probably do a round table, and I could actually add more people on here that they could actually bring more information with Dogecoin. For example, we have Andrea from Alberto. I still haven't gotten an okay from the Dogecoin developer team. We had gotten an okay, but then that was put on standby. But maybe we could actually do this again, but as a round table with other people that could even bring more information about Dogecoin and the Flare network, the devs, and much more.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that would be great in the future. I'm down with that, Patty.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited all these blockchains are coming together and the communities are like this has given us the opportunity to be the people in control of a network. It's decentralization to its finest, in my opinion.
Exactly.
But either way, guys, everybody, Mickey B.Fresh, Patty, Hank Dang, Mickey B.Fresh, Patty, appreciate you guys, man, a lot. Appreciate all the knowledgeable information that you guys are giving. And everybody on the stream and everybody watching this video before the stream, guys, this is probably one of the biggest utilities, one of the biggest things, news updates happening for Dogecoin, because this is going to go ahead and give Dogecoin that real, true value. All right, that hype has to be on the side, and we actually need to be spending our Dogecoin, using our Dogecoin, and of course, now with smart contracts, we're setting the bar even higher. Okay, so guys, very great live stream. Mickey B.Fresh, Patty, Hank, once again, thank you.
Thank you,
guys.
Thank you.
Right, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Go to Mickey B.Fresh, like and subscribe, guys. Mickey B.Fresh, the DeFi standard is already pinned. Either way, guys, appreciate everybody being here on the live stream. And with that said, always remember, bro, stay alpha.
Stay alpha. I like it. Take care. Thank you.